Hello everyone. We are starting a new series of economics for civil services examination. Economics, I would say, is one of the very important as a subject which is asked in a lot of examination where current affairs are asked. So specifically, the series will be for UPSC students, the ones who are going for civil services examination. If you know that this economics become the backbone when it comes to solving a lot of prelims question, because every time you get a lot of question, like around 20 questions you get from economics as a topic itself. If you have a very good conceptual clarity, you will be able to ace the exam. And also UPSC is an important component of general studies paper 3 as well, which is a mains paper, and also it gives you edge in interview as well. This series will be in the mode of language I will use is English language, both Hindi and English. You can use subtitles as well to understand it. I will try to break all of these concepts in a very simple manner, as if you are the beginner in economics. My point of view of teaching will be to consider as if you do not know any concept of economics. If you have a background, you can watch this video 2x as well. We will start with firstly the checking how the mastery in economics can give you an edge in UPSC. Firstly, I'll say that for economics, you do not need to merely have understanding of facts only. You need to have conceptual clarity as to why this happens. It's very logical subject, and you need to understand it how it will be applicable in the real world scenario as well, because a lot of questions I've seen and a lot of concepts are based upon how you will apply in the real life. And also, as future administrator, what your role will be as an administrator will be to handle budget schemes or some inflation, unemployment. Those will be some of the tasks which will be there. So economics as a subject is the base of it. If you understand economics, you will be able to understand those issues as well. And also current affair integration, link all the subjects, all the topics which we are studying with the current events which you are studying. If you're studying an economics thing, understand what is the logic behind it, what how this concept is linked with the static knowledge. Hereby we are covering the static knowledge, but you should link it with the current events as well. And also data interpretation, that is not asked as such in the UPSC examination, but if you will study later budgets as well as economic surveys, to understand the budget and economic surveys as well, to understand how economic indicators, graphs, statistics report are all based upon economic concepts. So clarity, understanding is important. It will give you a lot of question, as I told you, very good basic question which can you can easily solve, and there is very less ambiguous. One thing which is important about economics is there is very clear answers. If you know the concept, you will get that right, because in prelims what we have seen is there is always a very randomized question. If you can get the economics questions right, it will give you an edge. And also there is a very clear answer that you will be able to identify that which options are correct and which are not correct. If you have understanding, you will, half of the questions are very clear answers, and clear answers are clear as well as options are clear. Also interview edges, if you understand economic concepts, and whenever answering any question for your interview examination interview as well, if you can integrate it with explaining what is their economic angle, then it will make your answers more comprehensive. It will show कि you have understanding. क्योंकि इंटरव्यू के दौरान जब आप देखते हो कि दे आस्क यू प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियो बेस्ड क्वेश्चन कि इस सिनेरियो में आपको क्या करना चाहिए. And economic as a subject itself is about choosing the best choice based upon the available choices, how to use the resources well. The same for the mains goes. I would say that the preparation remains the same, but how to use it for prelims, how to use it for mains and interviews is very different. For prelims, you need to solve questions in our upcoming series as well. I will also take previous year question papers on which were asked in prelims to show how the concepts are, how can you link the concepts with the prelims. And mains question as well, whatever questions you get from mains, always in your answer, always try to include economic angle as well. What are the economic implications of that particular topic? Whatever topic you're discussing, if it is a socio-political topic, every time, always there is an economic angle to it. So how it will help you, you will be able to evaluate policy as to how this policy be practical, will be feasible. What we study here in the economics is practicality and realisticness. Will it be realistic, will it be practical, what are the probability it will be successful? That is all the things which you need to take care as an administrator. You will be able to compare the approaches, because a lot of questions are always giving you the choice that which one of will you choose. You can compare the approach, you can suggest solutions to it. So the agenda of first 5 minutes of discussion here is to just tell you about the fact that do not just read economics as a subject. I think enjoy it as a subject and also link it with the various aspects. Only then you will be able to utilize it the most to best of your advantage. Now let's see this picture to understand what the economics is. Economics as a subject, what it discusses that how we can use the limited available resources to meet unlimited human demands. If you see this picture, this is only the space we have. But here there are 3 blocks, and then you see this picture, the same space, but now this objects are less over here. This is more crowded. And this has more resources, but they require to adjust themselves in this small space as well. This means that even if we have limited resources, if you can use the efficient use, you can fulfill your needs. That's what the purpose of the subject is. That is the resources are scarce. We have very less resources. बहुत कम हमारे पास resources है. In terms of raw materials, we have less resources. In terms of you can see anything. Firstly, resources or like human labor is less. How many people are working, that is less. And then you need to allocate these resources. There are various sectors in an economy in which you can allocate. You always have this choice. What all are the major resources which are very less? Like land is less, money is less, time is less. These are limited, but wants are unlimited. So this tension between resources, limited resources, and wants, who helps to create a balance between both of these? We need to create balance. We create balance through economic subject. And this also results in scarcity. We need to tackle this issue of scarcity through the subject of economics. Let's also understand this example. This example shows you how a country is built. These three are friends, and they are making a country called Ecoland. So to make a country Ecoland, we need a lot of resources. We need food also, housing also, jobs also, and it is up to these 3 friends as to how will they organize all of these things. So one of the friends come up with the idea that let's market decide. Whoever will be living on this particular land, they will only be deciding how they are going to pay and pay and then get these goods. And then this friend, she was a very state oriented. She was like, no, she's like state, the one who is governing all the people. They will decide, plan and everything for the welfare of all the people. And then he is mixed friend. This friend is like, no, we need a mix of both of this, mix of both capitalistic and socialistic. This state oriented is socialistic, capitalistic. You can understand from this example as to what they are saying. Basically, if this is the land they are creating, in this land in which capitalists will be making, what they will be doing, they will on their own will be manufacturing the things. There will be some industrialists who will be manufacturing it, and then there are people. These are the households. Households means the common people. These people, industrialists, these houses will pay them, and in turn industries will give them goods. All right, and these industries are also run by the people who are working in these houses. One is approach this. Another approach is this, that government will regulate these industries, government will build these roads as well, and then government will ensure that all the households are getting goods at the proper rates. These are some of the ways through which an economy can be organized. These three is the overview which we have seen. These are about how to organize the economy, how to organize economic system of a country. We understood there are three methods: capitalistic, socialistic, and then there is mixed. We'll understand all of these properly. This is an overview, so I'm explaining you what the subject is all about and how we are going to use it. And then you check out this image. Then the next question which these three friends are facing, that once we have organized it, how will we get to know that how this economic system which we have created in a country, how is it performing? Economic system, how you evaluate it? We need to have a check and balances so that we can regulate it. Regulation is important, otherwise what will happen? क्या हो जाएगा अगर हमने अच्छे से उसको मेजर नहीं करा? वी नीड टू मेजर कि कितना गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है इस इकोनॉमी में, कितना प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, एंड देन हमें ये भी बताना चाहिए कि हमारी कंट्री में कितना हो रहा है, एंड हाउ मच इज. We need to understand, as I told you this, ki how much goods and production is happening in our country, and then also we need to also know that all the countries, we are taking the example of Ecoland. Ecoland, this is a country which these three friends are creating. What the Ecoland is creating, and this is a Candyland. Ecoland is creating X amount of production, and then people of Candyland is coming to Ecoland, and Ecoland people are going to Candyland as well, because economies are interrelated because of globalization. Interrelated. Give me a second. Interrelated. ये कॉन्सेप्ट है कि इंटररिलेटेड कैसे है, व्हाट इज दिस, ये वी विल अंडरस्टैंड दिस इन लेटर क्लासेस, विच इज नोन एज ग्लोबलाइजेशन. ये हम बाद में पढ़ेंगे कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन क्या होता है, बट जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दिस फैक्ट. आई एम रीआइट्रेटिंग इट. जैसे कि इकोलैंड के लोग कैंडीलैंड जाएंगे एंड कैंडीलैंड के लोग इकोलैंड जाएंगे, ठीक है. सो इकोलैंड में जब वो जा रहे हैं, इकोलैंड वाले जब जा रहे हैं कैंडीलैंड में, तो दे विल ऑल्सो अर्न सम इनकम. कैंडीलैंड के लोग जब इकोलैंड में आ रहे हैं, दे विल ऑल्सो अर्न, बट वी कैन नॉट ऐड इट इन आर एक्स अमाउंट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. वी नीड टू reduce what the people we need to add what the people of Ecoland are earning at Candyland. Just take an example. I will take, for the simplicity, I'll take this example. You do not need to worry about this, but when we will come to the proper concepts of it as we move forward, then you will understand it properly as to what is this. Just for the understanding sake, Ecoland के लोग आके how much they are earning Y, and Yland, Candyland के लोग when Ecoland पे आए, they are earning Z. We will add X plus Y minus Z, because we need to reduce what from this production what the people of Candyland is earning on Ecoland, which will help us get to our gross net production. How much is the production which is happening inside, जितना भी production Ecoland के inside हो रहा है, Here Ecoland is the country we are representing, right? Ecoland के अंदर जितना production हो रहा है, Ecoland के अंदर production जितना हो रहा है, whatever production is happening inside the borders of Ecoland, that is GDP. How the concept of GDP, GNF works, we will have a separate sessions on this. But just to understand that this is what the economics is about, which you guys are fearing about, but it's very easy subject. As we move forward, there are a lot of measurements, but this is a very basic thing which everyone should know. Okay, coming back to our economics, I told you about choices. We need to decide as to how to allocate resources efficiently among the competing uses. Distribution, determining who gets what share of resources and goods produced. We need to also understand that which sector will get more resources and more goods produced. This is done based upon what the policy of that particular nation, or how it is decided. When every time you get a budget, this is decided through budget. Budget decides that what will be the share of each sector, the various sectors in an economy. If you can list down what are the sectors of the economy, budget do sector-wide allocation of the budget. Like we have defense sector, we have healthcare, we have education, we have road and transport. These are few of the list. The multiple other sectors as well, the major sectors I told you. There can be a lot of other sectors. There are other sectors as well. A budget helps to allocate the resources. So let's jump on to one by one the concepts of this chapter, first part of this video, which is about economics. As I told you, economics is a discipline which is studying about how the society will use the scarce resources to produce goods and services and distribute among people. Two central important ideas which the discipline of economics study is scarcity of resources, need for efficient use of these resources. As we studied earlier as well, what the economics of subject do. So the major aspect, the major aim is to understand how you are using the scarce resources and using those resources efficiently. It studies human economic activities like livelihood, profit loss, wages, employment. These are some of the factors which you, when we will be doing individual chapters on those, you will understand that it's revolving around livelihood, how we are going to earn money, how we are going to make profit, how we are going to incur loss, wages, employment, etc. These are the major factors on which any economic activity also depend. Now understand the two perspectives which are given. Samuelson versus Norrius, he gave the definition from the perspective of there is two levels. There is macro level is overall economy, and then is micro level. Macro is to understand the economy as an overall, and micro is to understand it from an individual level. The two definitions which are widely accepted as well. If you are asked any question on that, you can use this example as well. Samuelson's this definition use that you use of scarce resources to produce valuable commodities and distribute them. It is studying how society will use the scarce resources and it will produce valuable commodities out from them, and how the distribution will happen. And here the focus is on society, production and distribution plus distribution. And then if you see the definition which is given by Stritz and Walsh, they are giving the definition from an individual perspective. Overall, if you understand, both of these definitions are same. They are saying how individual forms and government, because ultimately who is making those decisions as to how we are going to use those resources and doing the efficient allocation of those resources. The individuals, firms and government, all these are the major agencies, I should call agencies, or we can call them the decision makers, because through them only all the decisions are made when it comes to economic activities. also understand the fact that it's a very dynamic subject. Dynamic subject in the sense that the economic decisions in terms of resources and everything we are taking, this is also dependent on the time and the space. These are the two factors you will understand. To give an example of how the time and the space can change. Time and space in the sense that time means at what time you are making those decisions. Whatever were applicable, understand there was an LPG policy in 1991 which liberalized the Indian economy. The Indian economy is divided in pre-LPG and post-LPG policy. What was applicable in pre-LPG policy it's not can be applicable in the post LPG policy. The timeline has changed. Because of time, there is a constant. The subject constantly evolves itself. Constant evolution happens of this dynamism is involved. Dynamism is it's subject to change every day. Economy definitely change every day because you see the people behavior will change. There are other external factors as well. External factors which impact it is consumer behavior. What are the behavior of the people? What is the culture which is prevalent in the society? What is the demography of demography? It depends on what kind of people are staying. Is the economy filled with youth? Or it is based upon adult population, or is it based upon senior citizens? It depends upon the age groups as well. And then there are factors like technology. Like the AI has evolved. Because of AI, a lot of changes has happened in the terms of economy as well. Whenever you're answering any such question in economics, you need to take into consideration all of these aspects. So culture also really matters. As to then socio-economic status of the people you're making decision for, socio-economic status. These are also the various factors on which it depends. And then it comes to space. Space shows like US economy can be it's very different from India economy. Why US economy is different from because of the people. The demography is different. The kind of climatic conditions are different. That is a major food preferences are different. The way people live in that life is different. What kind of thinking people have, this is different. That's why it's different. Even within an economy, like you see in India as an economy, you see it can be different, vary by state. Probably what is good in Kerala may not be good in Bihar because of the factors which we have discussed earlier as well. Here the factors can be education level, literacy level is an important factor. Then it comes to, as I showed you, healthcare sector level is very different. And also the level of technology we have in Kerala, the infrastructure we have is not present in the Bihar. Because of that also the decisions can vary. Let's understand going further, a very simple slide. We have discussed almost everything of this earlier as well. Like for a layman, you don't know the economics, but how can you explain this to a layman? Layman is a person who do not know anything about economics. For him, what is economics? Human activities. What are the human activities? It can be political activity. Political can be like voting, like mere task of voting. Social can be celebrating some festival, marriages. Economic activity, administrative activity. All of these are human activities. And in all of these some of the components are always involved. Income, expenditure, production, exchange, profit, loss, wages, occupation. So this is an important aspect of a human life. And we have studied as to how these choices differ. As we discussed that even though they are different activities, but the priority, we need to set a priority कि कौन सी चीज़ को हम first preference देंगे in terms of spending our limited money we have. And these choices also vary. As we had discussed in the earliest, just before this slide, in which I try to explain to you on what basis these choices differ. These differ on the basis of what is the income level, whether you're poor, what is inequality status, whether you will buy a fuel efficient or a sports car. It will depend upon your need as well, and all your economic status and the various economic factors we discussed above. And these economic activities are again, it can be divided into micro, macro and global issues. Firstly, micro is something which is individual level as to how a particular firm will set its prices, how a consumer will behave. This is based upon how a particular entity will behave. Macro is an economic study whereby we will be discussing about how macro as a overall economy will work. You must be questioning as to what is the difference between economics and economy, because multiple times I've used this definition. I'll explain you in the next slide what is the difference. And then there are global issues as well. Global issues which the economy tackle is like trade war. Different economies have trade wars between them. There can be WTO disputes. Don't worry about all these terms like trade dispute if you can't understand this. Further videos, just stay tuned with this channel. We will cover all of these things. And there could be climate change, economics, carbon credit. All of these factors are all digital economy, interconnectedness, globalization. These are the global issues of an economics. All right. Let's move on to now the difference between economics and economy. I have multiple times used different terms that use economics and economy. You understand economics is a theory. Like what we are studying here right now is not economy. We are studying here is a theory. And economy is how it turns out in practicality. You understand, if you see, under economics, what we are studying, the concepts we are studying, what are the models of economics. Under economics versus economy. To give an analogy to you as to what is the difference, if you understand, there is a car. We have a car. This car is based upon certain fundamental physics principles. If I'm studying physics, can I say that I am moving this car? I'm moving, or you can say I'm driving this car. No, but this physics is economics, because hereby we are studying on how economy works. It is a theory. And in economy, what we are studying is how that particular thing, how it will play out in the real country. Hereby we are studying the real picture, how the people actually produce, how production is taking place, how trade is working, how savings happening, investment happening. This is the real world of economy. So give you an example. Economics is like based upon concepts, as I told you. Like we will cover this economics as a subject, like what is inflation, GDP and everything. Economy as a subject is like Indian economy, US economy. It's based upon the defined region. Economy is how it will play out in the actual scenario. Same theories can give different results. Why you think that economics is same, the concepts are same, but in the economy, when it will play out in the actuality, but it will give you very different results. Why it usually happens? It's happening because of some of the factors. Because of natural resources, if you understand, natural resources remain the same. But in an economy, if you understand, there is an economy like Gulf region. If you do not know Gulf region, you should search out what is the Gulf region is. Do search it. And Gulf region is Middle East countries. If you understand like Saudi Arabia, Iran, these are Gulf regions. These are oil-rich region. They already have the oil, so they do not need to import it. On the other hand, a country like Japan, if you see, Japan don't have resource of oil. They need to import this. Because of that, the concepts remain the same, demand and supply. Here the concept of demand and supply will play out, but it will play out very differently in this, because Gulf region में क्योंकि ऑयल पहले से ही है, तो ऑब्वियसली क्योंकि हमारी सप्लाई है, ठीक है, तो डिमांड उसी तरह से वर्क करेगी. डिमांड एंड सप्लाई के चैप्टर में विल अंडरस्टैंड प्रॉपरली. बट जापान में सप्लाई नहीं है, तो उसका प्राइस राइज होगा. because of that. Other quality can be human capital. Quantity and quality both matter. You see, there is one country where there is quantity, enough number of people are there, good skills are there. Like example, if you can take example of South Korea, and you can compare it. The literacy level, these are also the major dimensions which determine ki how will be the outcome in that particular economy will it play out. Social political settings, as I told you, social political settings, you understand, is the country stable, what is the system of governance followed there, is it a democracy, is it a monarchy? These are important factors. What is the level of corruption there, how is the country stable or not? These are socio-cultural settings, socio-political settings. What kind of institutions are? History also matters the most. If you see history, if you see colonization is also a major factor which comes to economy. You might be thinking that how colonization is interrelated, but it really matters. Colonization, like if India has been colonized, it has impacted how the governance system of India is working. What are the institutions present there? All common law countries who have been colonized by Britain, so there is some similarities in the legal system, and ultimately economy is also impacted. Economy and economics as subject is affected by a lot of factors, a lot of human factors, a lot of environmental factors, a lot of cultural factors, psychological factors. Psychological factors also matter. What is the culture which is followed in that country? Is it a people of that country has a mindset of savings? What is the risk-taking culture? That will also determine. Economics has fewer types. Why we say? Because I've already told you the fewer, like inflation you will be studying, unemployment you are studying, employment you are studying. These are some of the topics which you will be studying there. Economy, if you see, are highly diverse, because I told you, because it's based upon the defined region. Indian economy, US economy, Russian economy. So there are various economies. It's dependent on the region. Under this part, now the last part of this video is about why then there is need to study, because we have said that the economy and economics is different, but then what is the requirement to study all of these subjects? What is the requirement to study economics then? The requirement to study economics is because economics as subject create economic theory which ultimately help us to take decisions for economy. Economics as a subject helps us to develop models. The various models which we will ultimately study. These models are like, to give an example, is Keynesian model, Marxist model. When we will study the models, I'll discuss about it. Capitalistic models. These are the models which are developed by economists who take these decisions, or policy makers take these decisions. You being an administrator will also take this decision. You should have understanding of this model, and based upon the scenario which is present to you, you will have to take decisions on that. So economics as a subject gives you certain kind of theory how to run the economy, but there are a lot of chances that in this economics will also fail because of any XYZ reason. Because if you see, during Great Depression, after Great Depression, the Keynes gave its Keynesian theory, and this Keynesian theory ultimately proved to be failure during 1970s. We will understand this theory. I'll explain you the history of economics as well from subsequent videos. This ends our video of part 1 of our economics series for UPSC, civil services, and for other competitive examination. Thank you for listening. If you, it took me a lot of efforts to make this whole video. Please do like the channel, subscribe the channel. In case you have any query, you can post. Please stay tuned for further videos on this topic, and it's going to be a great journey together. Thank you so much.